All right, welcome to the wrap-up. Rough start at that 0-2, but a reasonable finish at 3-2. That's kind of how the deck's going to go sometimes, right? Live by the inquiry, die by the inquiry. Sometimes you might be pitching a lot of your hollow ones, sometimes not. This deck does get a lot of flack for its randomness, and I totally understand that. It can be very frustrating on either side of the table in that regard. But I also don't think it's necessarily as easy to play as some people might mention, where you're just sitting there and rolling the dice all the time. There's definitely a lot of interesting sequencing decisions to be made throughout the game, and as usual, sideboarding. But that's pretty true with every Magic deck, right? Sideboarding and sequencing are like two of the things that, no matter what you're playing, can generally stay difficult. So we'll see. Obviously, this deck has been performing pretty well and is becoming pretty popular in the format, for better or for worse. So we'll see where it goes as we move forward. But these lists are pretty reasonable. There's not really a lot I would want to change. Obviously, sideboards are a little different, but for the most part, the main decks look very much like this one. I think it's pretty well optimized. Now, obviously, that people have found Goblin lore over the last few months over things like Cathartic or whatever else. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think the deck obviously can be a little inconsistent, but is quite powerful, and maybe isn't as inconsistent as we originally thought. When these lists originally started coming around, I was not a very big fan of them. But I think as they become optimized and as people have learned to play with them a lot better, and mostly just being disproven by the results, right? I mean, it's hard to argue when the deck performs. I've come around a bit. Still not my favorite deck in the world, but a good one to play with every once in a while, just to keep up to date and help for battling against it, especially with how popular it has been of late. So, yeah, that's what we're working with. I wouldn't mind, I guess I should mention, I wouldn't mind a third Blood Moon. It seems like basically every list is on 2 Blood Moon. I really wouldn't mind a third. I don't know about the Ley Lines versus Spell Bombs. Most people are playing Spell Bombs. I kind of wanted to run with Ley Lines since the deck's so popular and Spell Bombs are so much harder to beat. I think I like Ley Lines, but maybe you got to take the plunge on the 4th if you're really committing to that. But I think it would really help you win a lot of mirrors, where Spell Bomb is just going to be like good, but not nearly great, not nearly as great as something like Leyline. Leyline also can't get Burning Inquiry out of your hand. I mean, there's a lot, but you can't find it off of things like Burning Inquiry or Faithless Looting, right, or Goblin Lore. This deck sees a ton of cards, so if Spell Bomb is good enough, you might be better off just having it, so that you can find it. But the reality is that this deck also dumps cards it doesn't need pretty easily, so drawing extra Ley Lines is not such a big deal. I think I might want to take the plunge on the 4th if I was going to continue to play the deck, and maybe be on a third Blood Moon. Maybe that just means I'm trying to lock people out of games, but I wouldn't hate that. Might go down to like 1 Lavamancer and cut the explosives. It's probably not great, but something along those lines. I think that would help with the way the meta is shaking up. That's probably not a great idea with the popularity of humans, though, to cut a Lavamancer and explosives. So maybe it'd be more something like, I don't think you can cut Third Brutality either. Geez, yeah, that gets tough. Maybe you do end up cutting the explosives. Maybe it's just 1 Lavamancer and then like 1 big Game Hunter. Something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, you get the idea. There's a lot you can do with the board, but that's sort of where I would want to go moving forward. But either way, thanks for watching. I appreciate it very much, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.